Good morning.
Good morning to each one.
This is the start of this Saturday's meeting, and I hope I have everybody in. So we'll start this Saturday's meeting. This meeting is about a meditation called the hand meditation, and I wanted to start it with this. If I can share, let's see if I can share this. Share sound, share thing. Okay, it's a Celtic meditation that I wanted to share with you, and Marilyn also enjoyed this particular meditation. She's the presenter of this, but I wanted to give you a little bit of music before we start, because when I first started, meditating, it was very difficult for me. And even now it is, because of, all the things that go through your mind. It's hard to stop thinking. And so I wanted to have this little piece of music to start with, because this music it's about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, is a piece that a friend of mine played at the beginning of a meeting we were at. He had gotten a new flute, a new little whistle, and he was trying it out. And it kind of manifests how, when I'm doing a meditation, what I do. I can meditate for a few seconds, and then my mind goes to some other thought, and then it comes back. And you can see how he struggles with this new flute. It just manifests meditation to me. And I just thought it would be a good way to start, because it's different to try to meditate.
Going.
Well, it just reminded me of how I meditate, and I thought it would be a good way to welcome you all in, as people are still trying to get into this meeting. But if you look at the whole package, the whole part of his whistle and his music, it ended up pretty good. And I think that's what happens when you meditate. It does have a beautiful impact, a beautiful change in your life. So that's I'll thank John Hammer for his whistle talk. I wanted to introduce this Celtic meditation as well. I always like to know who is the person that creates these meditations, or even authors a technique or a book. This Celtic meditation was authored by a Father Edward Farrell, and he's a retreat master, a spiritual director, a pastor, and working in Detroit. And his claim to fame, to me, which I thought was very interesting for this man, was that on a plane ride from New York to Detroit, he was just per chance was seated next to Mother Teresa. And he had this plane ride with her. I thought that was fascinating. And because of that plane ride, he talked with her about Detroit and about the people that are in Detroit that are downtrodden. There's a lot of gangs, a lot of people that could use some uplifting. So she sent him 3 sisters to work in the ghettos of Detroit. And they got to know everyone in that area. And in fact, one of the gang leaders named the three sisters the Ladies of the Sheets. And I thought that was an interesting little fact about this priest that created this book of meditations. And it was just, I thought it was kind of neat. And this meditation is called Celtic because it echoes the ancient prayer of St. Patrick, who saw the divine all around him, above, below, to the right side, to the left. And I think it's kind of a compelling meditation. Everybody likes different meditations. I hope you enjoy this as much as it resonated with me and with Marilyn. And so I've introduced the how I meditate, and I've introduced the priest, and I want to introduce to you Marilyn Ingrassia. She's going to be our presenter this morning, and she is a master's prepared educator. She's taught mostly, for many of her years have been spent in teaching inner city children. She's a special education teacher. So she's dealt with the inner city children that are having difficulty learning. She's also an artist. You can see her little paintings are, she has them above her cabinets in the back, but she's quite an artist. She also is a poet. She's written about 200, almost 200 poems with a friend of hers. It's called Renga. One of our past presenters, Lynn Wagner, showed up, had a presentation about poetry and about Renga. And Marilyn just took off with that with a friend of hers. And she's written these poems. She's also a student of Italian. And she has her three children. One of them is sitting next to her. That's Noreen Cole, who's going to sing for us at the end of the meeting. And she has two fur babies that she loves, but the light of her life, who means the stars and the sun to her, is her granddaughter, Harper. So she, that's who Marilyn is. And she's also my big sister. So I present to you Marilyn Ingrassia. Marilyn, it's showtime.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Carol, I thought you were going to begin the meditation, or should I just do the whole thing? I'll do the whole thing. Okay. All right. I appreciate you all coming today. I pray that this little time that we stay together this morning and what goes on here will be of help to you through your day and through all your time. Okay, this was something I heard when I was very young, and I probably was in my 20s when I first heard this, and I was very impressed by it. So this has been around for a while, and maybe some of you have heard it before. Okay, just as with most meditations, we would have the same posture as in other meditations. You can close your eyes if you want to, have your hands resting in your lap, palms up. You do that to receive, and tune into your breathing. Relax the tension points and go into your center. Become aware of the air at your fingertips, between your fingers, on the palm of your hand. Experience the fullness, strength, and maturity of your hands. Think of your hands. Think of the most unforgettable hands you have known. Perhaps the hands of your father, your mother, your grandparents. Remember the oldest hands that have rested in your hands. Think of the hands of a newborn child, of the incredible beauty, perfection, delicacy in the hands of a child. Once upon a time, your hands were the same size. Think of all that your hands have done since then. Almost all that you have learned has been through your hands. The first time you turned yourself over, crawling and getting where you wanted to go, walking and balancing yourself, learning to hold something for the first time, feeding yourself, washing and bathing and dressing yourself. At one time, your greatest accomplishment was tying your own shoes. Think of all the learning your hands have done and how many activities they have mastered, the things they have made. Remember the day you could write your own name. Our hands were not just for ourselves, but for others. How often they were given to help another. Remember all the kinds of work they have done and the tiredness and aching they have known, the cold and the heat, the soreness and the bruises. Remember the tears they have wiped away, our own or another's, the blood they have bled, the healing they have experienced. How much hurt, anger, and even violence they have expressed, and how much gentleness, tenderness, and love they have given. How often they have been folded in prayer, a sign both of their powerlessness and of their power. Our father and mother guided these hands in the great symbolic language of our hands, the sign of the cross, the striking of our breast, the handshake, the wave of the hand in hello or goodbye. There is a mystery which we discover in the hand of a woman or the hand of a man that we love. There are the hands of a doctor, a nurse, an artist, a priest, hands which you can never forget. Now raise your right hand slowly and gently and place it over your heart. Press more firmly until your hand picks up the beat of your heart. That most mysterious of all human sounds, one's own heartbeat. A rhythm learned in the womb from the heartbeat of one's mother. Press more firmly for a moment and then release your hand and hold it just a fraction from your clothing. Experience the warmth between your hand and your heart. Now lower your hand to your lap very carefully as if it were carrying your heart. For it does. When you extend your hand to another, it is not just skin and bone. It is your heart. A handshake is the real heart transplant. Think of all the hands that have left their imprint on you. Fingerprints and handprints are heartprints that can never be erased. The hand has its own memory. Think of all the places that people carry your handprints and all the people who bear your handprint. They are indelible and will last forever. If you're near someone right now, you can reach out on either side and find another hand. Do not simply hold it, but explore it and sense the history and mystery of this hand. Let your hand speak to it, and let your hand listen to the other. Try to express your gratitude for this hand stretched out to you in the dark, and then bring your hand back again to your lap. Experience the presence of that hand lingering upon your hand. The afterglow will fade, but the print is there forever. Whose hand was that? It could have been any hand. It could have been his hand. It was. He has no other hands than ours. I hope someone, if you have a piece of paper there, we're with you. We were going to try to draw our hand. So does everyone have a little piece of paper that they could draw their hand? And if you can, just trace your hand and draw your hand. And then on the inside of your hand, what do you think we should draw? What is on the inside of our hand? What do we hold there? It's our heart. So let's put our heart in the center. Because when we reach our hand out to someone, we are really reaching our heart. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what I kind of consider, in my life, and I think it actually has been said on television, I've heard this, that the number one problem in our country is loneliness. People feel very isolated and they feel alone. Our life today is a little different than it was. I'm old enough to remember when I was a child that there were neighbors out on their porch, or the next door neighbor would come in and visit. I remember my mom even being surprised because some neighbor would be sitting on a chair in our living room. She walked in there and the lady felt welcome enough to just come in. But they are saying now that that is our number one problem, is isolation and loneliness. And I think what I have noticed, maybe because I am a widow, I go to church every day, and it used to be my way of going to church that I felt, okay, I went to church, said my prayers, did my duty for the day, and I would walk out and get on with whatever I was going to do. But I think, in my own loneliness, I have become more aware of people around me. Now, at my church, they have like a donut Sunday. And I think that's very good of our pastor. He has continued that from before. But before, when I was single, I'd go get, or when I was married, I'd go get the donut and I'd leave. But now I go in there and I make it my purpose to look around the room, to look at all these tables. And you will see some people, if you look, you'll usually find one or two people that are sitting by themselves. And so I have kind of made it my little job to go and say hello. And I used to think I'd be disturbing people. But most recently, I was in there and I saw a lady sitting there by herself. And I know her, she's been in some of my book clubs, but I don't know her really well. But she was sitting and I was standing next to her and I said, "Good morning, Maggie, how are you?" And she was kind of startled. And so we started talking a little bit. And then I realized that Maggie lifted her hands to me. I was standing, so she lifted and she wanted to give me a hug. And I'm like, okay. So I gave her a hug. So then we talked a little bit more. And I don't know why, but I kept standing. So I guess I haven't mastered this being really friendly that well yet. I don't know. But anyway, I was still standing and I'm talking to Maggie. And then Maggie does this again. She reaches again and we give each other a hug again. Well, to make a long story short, she lifted her hands 4 times to hug me. And I thought, now, did this lady think I was bothering her? I don't think so. That's what I would have thought in past years. I would think, oh, I don't want to bother this person. Was I bothering her? No, not at all. She loved it. She loved it and she enjoyed it. And I think in a way it made her happier and that made me happier. And another strange thing happened to me at church. I have a lot of things happen to me at church. I'm pretty much a daily person for church. And there was this lady, I sit in the second row. You know how we're creatures of habit. I sit in the second row, and this lady always sat in the very first row. And it's morning mass, and it's not real crowded or anything. But, you know, at the peace time, I've waved to her or whatever. But she always sat up in front, and I sat right behind her. So this one day I thought to myself, this is kind of ridiculous. This lady is sitting by herself. I think I'm going to move up to the front row and just sit with her. So she was kind of surprised that I was there, but we attended mass together. And then afterward, I said hello to her and I asked her her name. And it was an unusual name. So I knew she probably wasn't was a newer person to our country because she didn't seem to, I didn't recognize that kind of a name. But anyway, so I kind of continued that and I would sort of sit in the front row with her. Well, one day when I came in, she was crying. She started weeping. And I thought, oh my goodness. So I just went over there and I, put my hand around her shoulder and I'm rubbing her and I'm saying, what's the matter? What happened? And she's talking, telling me, spilling out all these words. Unfortunately, I could not understand a word she was saying. So all I could do in that moment was just hold her hand, rub her back, kind of hug into her. And I noticed even a friend of mine who was farther away looked a little like scared because this lady was crying so hard. But as I did that, she kind of calmed down. And then, we just sat. I never did understand what she was saying, but, just gave her a hug and she seemed to feel better. And off she went as she usually does. But it just means a lot. It means a lot to really see another person. I think many people don't feel seen. There's that thing that is in the Bible that says we have eyes that don't see and ears that don't hear. I think how true is that? So I try to be a little more, just notice that a little bit more. And I even know there's a comedian that my daughter Noreen just loves. She gets such a kick out of him. His name is Maniscalco? Noreen?
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Say it louder.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
have you ever seen Sebastian Maniscalco? He has some little, what are they, podcasts or whatever. And he does this one where he remembers when he was a boy, and he said, if they heard a knock on the door on Sunday night or something, they'd go, oh my gosh, it's people, let's go, let's open the door. Oh, we have company. And his mother always had like an Entenmann's cake or something in the house that the kids never could touch, because that was supposed to be for company when company came. And so he was happy he'd be getting some of that, because the company came. But he was saying that nowadays, it seems like you go to someone's house and they're like, they close the drapes, make sure the drapes are closed, and, act like nobody's home. And sometimes I just think, we've lost that art of just being neighborly and opening ourselves to others. So I do think of that. And I just wanted to say one more little thing, and then we can discuss this. When I was a teacher, I had a little girl in my room whose name was Mary Kay, and she was a third grader. And Mary Kay was just the best little student, good girl, never did anything wrong, just as sweet as could be. And she and this other girl used to bring me bakery. They always brought me something from home, a cookie, a donut, or whatever they had. And I just loved those kids so much. But one day it was around Christmas time, and she came up to me and she said, she's kind of wringing her little hands, and she's like, I'm worried because it's almost Christmas and I don't have a present for you. She says, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring you a present. And I said to her, I said, Mary Kay, I said, you know what? You bring me presents every day. Because I said, Mary, you're the gift. You're my gift. And she looked at me kind of confused, like, what? She didn't picture herself as a fancy box with a ribbon. But I said, you are my gift because you're so kind. You're such a good, helpful little girl. You bring me cookies when you can. You are just sweet and kind. I said, you are my gift. You're the best gift I could ever have. And even though she was shocked, that many, many years later, because I didn't know if she really understood that. And I was at that parish for many years. Mary Kay grew up. And when she was a young girl, her mother had passed away. And her dad, brave as he was, wanted to get up and talk about his wife. So he was up after the funeral talking about his wife. And he said, my daughter told me this. He said, we have to remember that Mom, that she will always be with us because she was a gift. She was a gift to us, and we'll never forget it. We'll never forget the gifts she gave. So she's always going to be with us. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, did that little girl remember that from way back when? I don't know. I don't know, but God bless her. It was beautiful. And I think we do have to think of ourselves as gift. And sometimes the youngest of us can understand that even better. Carol told you my little favorite buddy is my little Harper. And a couple of years ago, I had walked with Harper into our church, and I was going to have her light a candle. I thought that would be exciting for her. So I have this man that I do the Renga with. He actually is a retired priest. And he was sitting there because he's in the choir. So he was sitting, and I wanted to bring a little Harper up to, introduce her to Doug. And so I brought her there, and I said, Doug, this is Harper. This is my little granddaughter, Harper. And you know, the funny thing about it, he didn't say a word. He just put his hand like that. And much to my surprise, she put her little hand in his. And then he closed his hand on hers. And I thought, how sweet. He gave her the invitation of his hand, and she accepted. It was beautiful. So that today is my talk about hands, and I would like to know if any of you have had any experiences with just an unexpected helpful hand or a hug. So I'll leave it to you. Anybody else?
Marilyn?
Oh, okay, I see you. Yes.
Yep, Marilyn. I don't know if you know that during Nurses Week, we actually do a blessing of the hands.
Oh,
And I can share, if you don't mind, I'll share that prayer with you. It's and it can be really, if you think of it, could be anybody's hands, but blessed be these hands that have touched life. Blessed be these hands that have felt pain. Blessed be these hands that have embraced with compassion. Blessed be these hands that have clenched with anger or withdrawn in fear. Blessed be these hands that have drawn blood and administered medicine. Blessed be these hands that have cleaned beds and disposed of waste. Blessed be these hands that have anointed the sick and offered blessings. Blessed be these hands that grow stiff with age. Blessed be these hands that have comforted the dying and have held the dead. Blessed be these hands, we hold future in these hands. Blessed be our hands, for they are the works of your hands, O Holy One.
oh, thank you. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I'd love a copy of that.
Okay.
Marilyn, Marcia has her hand up.
Okay. Oh, I see. I'm not used to these little boxes as being people. Hello, Marcia.
Hi. Yeah, I had an experience last night. Thank you, by the way, that prayer was beautiful and your meditation was beautiful as well. I sing with Sweet Adeline's Chorus, Vienna Falls, and we sing for honor flights. And there was an honor flight last night that came in from Southwest Virginia, and the American Legion was feeding them. So after they ate in their building, we come out and we sing 6 patriotic songs, and they really enjoy it. But at the end, as we walked out, we were going off our platform. I walked by, and the vets there are, by the way, are Korean and Vietnam veterans. And they're really old. Some are coming in with walkers and some were injured. But I didn't think about it last night, but as we did the hands today, I remember one man sat there and he just raised his hand. So I put my hand in his and we squeezed hands. Then I went by another man who was sitting there and he had his hand up like this. And so I shook hands with him. And then there was a woman who had been in the Air Force, tiny little woman, and she just grabbed my hand like this and just held it. And so, you know, when I look back on it, all the heart that was in all those hand holdings last night was very special. And I appreciate you translating that into heart and hand. So thank you.
Yes. Oh, yes. You are very welcome. I'm glad you had that beautiful experience. It is a beautiful experience.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody realizes, oh, Cheryl, I'll just say one thing. In anatomy and physiology, how we are made from the embryo, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, our heart and our hands are truly the extension of our heart in the formation of our body.
Really?
I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
Hi, Marilyn. This is Cheryl in Atlanta. Just wanted to thank you for the beautiful Hi, Noreen. Can't wait to hear your beautiful voice. Thank you for that beautiful meditation and prayer and the summary that you provided. But most importantly, I'm so happy that you brought out the fact of the self-awareness, because I just find that too often in our conditioned mindsets, everything becomes about us, and we never surrender to the ego. You mentioned self-awareness, you mentioned, I think I heard vibrations. You can actually, when you surrender to the I, you're constantly in positions where you can feel the vibrations of others and what their needs are around you. So I want to thank you for being very sensitive to that. I mean, I find that every day in my life there is some encounter where I'm having to react or to someone's heart vibrations, whether it's to a hand, hugs, or whatever, because we are vibrational beings in this vibrational universe. But one that was so profound that I would never forget. I'm retired now. I've been retired 2 years. Spent 40 years with the Atlanta, well, not 40 years with the Atlanta VA healthcare system, but retired from the Atlanta VA. And some of the most profound work that I've done, as well as Patty and others, Marcy, has been with our veteran clientele. And we've learned so much from them. But I recall this was many years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, where as I had introduced Caritas, the work of Caritas into the VA, maybe 15 or more years ago, probably close to 20 years ago, they were not really receptive of it. They thought it was just so touchy-feely. But whenever there was some type of a conflict or situation they couldn't handle, they would always call me or the other Caritas coaches. Well, to make a long story short, this female veteran had gone up to the director's office, the CEO's office, with a complaint about how she was uncomfortable, how she was treated by a group of doctors that had come to her room. All about 8 of them was attending with maybe 7 or 8 residents, and how they treated her. And she was just irate, using profanity and just hollering and screaming and crying, and no one could calm her down. So they called me to the office, and when I got there, I saw her just screaming and hollering and all of these things. So the first thing that came to my heart, because I can feel that she was in so much pain, emotional pain, that I just reached out my hands to her. I didn't say anything, just reached out my hands. And immediately, just by reaching out my hands, she immediately just calmed down. And she put her hands in my hand, you know, and then she laid her head on my shoulder. And I said, let's go back to your room and tell me what's going on with you. So we walked the hallways back from the director's suite with it was quite a distance back to her room on an inpatient unit, and sat there, and she opened her heart to share with me what had happened. And I'm gonna make this is a story I'll never forget. But this lady, who was maybe in her late 30s, she shared with me how when a group of men come in her presence, how it triggers the trauma that she had as a child, and how she shared with that group of doctors in their white coats that she had experienced military sexual trauma and had also been traumatized as a child, and that followed her. And when she told them that, she said, can you bring a nurse into my room? One of them snickered or smirked or something, and automatically triggered that within her. So this is what she did. I mean, that's all they had to do, just respond to her and say, let me get a nurse. But because of those egos, I'm the doctor, you're the patient, and now on top of that, you're a veteran patient, she was disrespected in that moment. So we all, going back to what you're saying about the power of just self-awareness and being cognizant of people and what people are going through. And sometimes it doesn't require any response, just being present and radiating that loving feel out there. This is a much deeper story too, but I just remember how, in that moment, no words exchanged at that time, just the power just reaching out my hands, and she just fell. It's like she was falling into a space as if she was a little child again and just needed someone to just care for her in that moment and listen to her. So thank you for allowing me to share. It was a long story, but thank you.
It was a good story.
Beautiful story.
Thank you for sharing that.
Feel like I need to follow Cheryl, but I can never follow Cheryl truly. And Patty, and the three of us all come from VA backgrounds. I'm the one still in the VA, though I'm looking outside the VA. That's a whole nother story. But I lead employee well-being. We call it employee whole health for employees to help them de-stress, boost their resiliency, really give them a sense of calm and peace and a pause. My favorite thing to lead always is loving kindness meditations. And I always have them put their hand over their heart and their hand over their belly and connecting the heart and the belly and opening their soul to the universe and the cosmos and really bringing in just your own innate ability to heal yourself. And people forget, I can do that. Like they think it has to be someone else on them or us, but they really love it. My hand is very warm. I can feel healing energy under it, but I so believe, as in Oriental medicine says, the spirit resides in the heart. And our calming part of our nervous system resides in the heart. So if we just reconnect and just have that sense of calm, it's so powerful. And I, like you, I'm a hugger. So I used to go around hugging everyone. And then I realized I can't do that anymore. Because I've had people go like, so now I say, may I give you a hug? I always ask. Because otherwise there are some people that are like, but I do feel our energetic presence that connects us to other people is through God, Spirit, One, whatever you would like to call God. And I believe in all walks of religions, and we all connect on that level, same level. But thank you so much for your stories, for that poem. I have heard it before and I love it. Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm
Thank
glad.
you.
I have a story related to the hand. It has a different spin. I remember many years ago walking in Occoquan, and my son was around 12 years old at the time, and he was behind me, and I reached my hand out as I was walking, and he took my hand, and it was this shocking moment of realization that this was not the hand of a boy I was holding. It felt like the hand of a man. Like it was this transition of my son growing up, and it was a symbolic moment just caught in my memory so clearly through the touch and the feel of his hand. It no longer felt like the hand of a little boy. This was my son emerging into a man, and it was so physical and so visceral and real.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You know, I'm so lucky that when my son was born, my little Jimmy, who's now a grown man, I was so happy even in the hospital, because when I looked at him, I noticed that he had his father's hands, because I have like short little fingers, but his dad had these nice long tapered fingers. And I thought, oh, great, my son has hands like his dad. But you know, I just love it so much now. And I know I drive him a little wacko when he comes over, because he lives in Cincinnati. And when he comes to town, I'll always say, Jimmy, let me hold your hand. Let me hold your hand, because it reminds me so much of his dad, who is gone, has been gone a long time. What a blessing it is. It's such a gift. Anyone else have anything that they wanted to share? Yes.
Hi, this is Robin. Hi, everybody. And thank
Hi,
you for all your beautiful words. They're, very heartfelt. Thank you. I have an awareness story, and it's one in my nursing career it happened to me probably about 5 or 6 years ago, but it's one that was very profound. And like Cheryl said, you never forget. I was going to work. It was around Christmas time, probably about 2 weeks before Christmas. And there was a gentleman in the elevator. I'd never even seen him before. And I walked into the elevator and then, oh, hi, how are you doing? And just his whole demeanor, he just looked like he was just devastated. So the awareness, I could pick up, something wasn't right. So anyway, so I asked him, I said, oh, well, would you like to, I don't even know words that I used at that point in time, but whatever, it's just like a floodgate. He just started spieling out and telling me about his wife. She was at Fairfax Hospital and she had cardiomyopathy and the prognosis was not good. And he had a 9-year-old and 11-year-old. And he said, yeah, this is the first Christmas I'll start to cry. This is the first Christmas that we're not going to have a tree and, haven't gotten presents. And it's just, my heart is just sinking. And it's just like, I had no idea. In the elevator, never seen him before. So anyway, so as he was leaving, I, of course, heartfelt, blessings to him and wishing him the best. And so I found out he worked for pharmacy. And so I went to, I told my husband, said, I've got to do something for this family. To know these 2 boys are not going to have anything for Christmas is devastating, and their mother's so sick. So anyway, I made a flower arrangement like with holly and, carnations or whatever, I made 2 stockings and filled them with candy and little gifts. And I took him to the pharmacy. I didn't know his name. I didn't know anything, but I took him to the pharmacy and I left them for him. And in a card, he had no idea who had done it. They just said some nurse had brought it. About 2 months later, I saw him again in the elevator. And he was like, when he saw me, he goes, it was you. And so anyway, it was just a very heartfelt, again, like I said, never met this man, didn't see him again for like 2 more months. And so anyway, that was really profound in my career. So thank you.
They're
Beautiful.
called God winks.
Mhm.
Beautiful story, Robin.
Mhm.
Beautiful memory for your heart.
Where did our singer go?
Well, yes, she'll come back. Any other stories before we get our singer?
Well, I just feel that, just hearing all your stories too, I just thank God for your stories because it's, people are needy. People are needy. We're all needy. We all kind of want the same thing. We want to be seen. We want to be loved. We want to feel like someone knows that we're there. And I want to thank all of you for your kindness that you expressed today, and just realize, how much love you're bringing to the world by your awareness and by your kind actions and your good works that you do. So thank you all very much. And here is the singer. She's back.
Hi, everybody. I'm Noreen. I'm Aunt Carol's niece. And this is my mom. Aunt Carol's mom 1.2. This is mom 1.0. So anyway, the song I was gonna do is I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles. It's always been my favorite song with covers. So like someone else covering the Beatles. I really can't handle their tinging sound, like the original recording of the Beatles. But I always really love this song because it's so cute and upbeat and just a sweet song about a boy that just wants to hold a girl's hand, just wants to show that, I really like you, so. And my husband thinks it's hysterical because for years he thought I couldn't stand the Beatles. I love the Beatles. lyrics, but
Mm.
not their original song, the way it sounds.
Noreen, come more to the center. Come over.
Hello.
Yeah, you can move
Oh,
over.
can you not hear me?
No,
Yeah.
I want your face more in the center. Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna make sure I get all the lyrics right, so I'm not gonna be looking at the screen.
Okay.
There's a female singer named Gigi Delana, and she's a beautiful lady, and she sings this song so pretty, but she's gonna be singing in my ear, so I'm gonna be singing to you. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll tell you something. I think you'll understand. And I tell you that's something. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. Oh, please say to me, you let me be your man. And please say to me, you let me hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love, I can't hide, I can't hide, I can't hide. You got that something. I think you'll understand when I say that something. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. And when I touch you, I feel something inside. It's such a feeling that my love, I can't hide, I can't hide, I can't hide. You got that something. I think you'll understand. And I feel that something. I wanna hold your hand. 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 I wanna hold your hand.
Thank you, Noreen Joy. I tell you, you were well named. Just beautiful to hear it from your voice.
Aw, thank you.
And we're ending on time, but it's a good thing because Noreen is a reverend and she's going to go and marry a friend of hers today at 12:30. So it's a good thing we're ending right at noon. So thank you, Noreen, for doing this. I know it's been a busy morning for you, and you'll continue on your day.
Thank you. Nice seeing all of you.
Marilyn, it was great. Thank you. You did beautifully.
You're welcome.
And I appreciate it that I could just say someone canceled and here, Marilyn and Noreen do something. It was great. It was great. So we'll meet next month, and we have next month's presenter on here, Nina Deshwani, and she will be next month's presenter, and she will talk to us about quantum healing. So we have that to look forward to in November. But I thank you too, Marilyn and Noreen. It was perfect. Beautiful fall season event to go into gratitude and to happy memories.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you next month. Thank you all for coming.
Stay well,
Thank you,
everyone.
guys. Love you all.
Thank you all. Bye.
Show those hands, everybody. Show those hands.
I love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheryl, bye. Love you
Bye.
all. Bye.
Bye.
Beautiful. Thank you.